Welcome to How to Decorate from Ballard Designs, a weekly podcast all about the trials and triumphs of decorating and redecorating your home. I'm Caroline, I'm on the marketing team.
And I'm Taryn, and I'm a product designer.
I'm Liz, I head up the creative team.
We're your hosts. Join the expert team at Ballard Designs for tips, tricks, and tales from interior designers, stylists, and other talents in the design world.
Plus, we'll answer your decorating dilemmas at the end of each episode.
We love answering your questions, so don't forget to email us at podcast@ballarddesigns.net.
Now, on with the show.
All right, this week we're thrilled to welcome Gabriela Eisenhart to the show. Gabriella is the visionary founder of Silo Studios, an award-winning interior design firm based here in Atlanta. With a background that spans with both arts and interior design, Gabriella has spent over 12 years partnering with homeowners nationwide to create spaces that reflect not only their personal stories, but who also foster connection and comfort. Her style, often described as timeless with a twist of the unexpected, masterfully marries traditional elements with modern design to bring her spaces to life. Silo Studios is renowned for its sophisticated yet edgy creations, having been featured in Architectural Digest and House Beautiful. Today, Gabriella will share her insights into slow design, a philosophy that emphasizes curating a home furniture and decor thoughtfully over time rather than all at once. We can't wait to explore her ideas on how to create a home that evolves with your unique journey. Gabriella, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I know.
I'm excited to be here.
It's so fun to have you in studio today.
I know. It's nice to be in studio.
Yes.
Yeah.
On this rainy, gross day.
I know. It's kind of, but you don't, in here, you don't feel it.
No one can tell this.
Yeah.
Pink wallpaper does a wonderful thing.
It really does. I know. It's fun.
Well, let's get started. Tell us a little bit about your background in interior design.
Okay. Let's see. Let's take a little bit of a journey here.
You're from Atlanta.
I'm from Atlanta. Lived here my whole life. My father's from Italy, and he has an old Italian restaurant here in Atlanta. So I grew up in that business. So I grew up in a family-owned business. So there's just that innate hustle in me. Mm-hmm. Went to school for fine arts and didn't fall into interior design until after having my second son. So I've had my company about 12 years ago. And it just felt like the right fit. And it has been, here we are. So I started my company in 2012, mainly focused on residential design and mainly focused on furnishings, and that evolved. And now we're very, very heavy construction, renovation based design firm. We do a lot of renovations, which I've grown to love. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been great.
So how did that evolution happen? Did you just start doing people's homes? Did you do your own home?
Yeah, so I did my own home. I know we were talking before. I'm from Atlanta, and we had bought a home in Candler Park right after. My boys are like Irish twins. They're a year and a half apart. Oh. So I was like, man, I guess I'm not taxed enough. Let's start a business. And I was young, so I had the energy. So I started the business, and I did. People were, I had done my home, and then people were organically asking. And that's sort of where the idea came from. And I'm kind of a dive in head first kind of person.
Yeah.
So I was like, no,
not know what you're getting into.
Learn along the way.
It.
And, and we started easy, but then, it was like, yeah, sure, we'll gut this whole house and it's going to go great. And it did. I have a great team now. I have great builders and contractors that we work with all the time. And I really learned throughout the process and learned by making, my own mistakes.
Yeah. It's just the best way to learn.
Yeah, it is great. Yeah. And so, here we are. I partnered with someone on the West Coast for like 7 years, and my company was here and in Los Angeles. And that was a great learning journey just to kind of see how the West Coast did things. And I learned a lot from that. And I gathered a lot of knowledge and design inspiration from that. And then, I needed to pivot and do something different. So almost 3 years ago now, I rebranded into Silo Studios, which is named after my boys, Silas and Oscar. And we're mainly focused out of Atlanta, but we work all over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so what made you decide to name it after your boys?
Good question, because we were just talking about this before we started record. They're at a great age now. They're early teens. I just, because when I started my company, it was Gabriela Eisenhart Interiors. And I don't know, because I kind of, I'm like, was that the right decision? But I love my boys, and I thought it was catchy, and it works. It works, and they feel like they have a little bit of a piece of all the madness too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, even though they make fun of me, but it's okay.
Well,
I'm sure they're proud of me deep down,
They are.
Oh, they very much.
Yeah.
I'm sure also that just kind of growing up watching what you do, because they were obviously very young when you started this too.
Yeah, I mean, it's been their whole lives.
Yeah.
Right.
So do they appreciate it?
It is interesting because they might think, people who observe how we live in our home. I'm a little nutty. Like, I like things a certain way, right?
No.
It comes with the territory. But it's, for me, it's all about the feeling of home. And if things are a certain way, I know that I'm more productive and I feel better. And that's been passed on to them.
Yeah.
I can see them, like, if things are out of place or it doesn't feel right, they get, they're unhappy. So I'm like, okay, well, that's, it's positive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's clean it up.
They'll come home and they'll be like, Mom, so-and-so's house was so, messy or cluttered, or it didn't feel great,
Yeah.
So
They can feel it out.
they feel it out.
Yeah.
So it's
Now, do they like antiquing or anything? I'm just wondering with all
so funny because I love antiquing. Like,
Yeah.
that's my meditation.
Yeah.
Just lock me in an antique store. Anytime we go out of town, they're always like, Mama's going to want to go on the back roads and find some antique store. They
like,
do like it, but
absolutely.
they're like looking for like baseball cards or something
Yeah.
different, but they do like
Yeah.
it. My husband even likes it too. So it works
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
I could spend hours doing it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So how has your design evolved from when you first started and doing your own home and into things that you're doing now? You're doing a lot more construction, but like what does it mean to decorate a home to you?
Good question. So, I mean, my style is I think I have a style that I'm drawn to, but for me, it's all about a feeling. A home is all about how you feel in it, how you operate in it. My style is a little bit more on the minimal side. I love to like layer textures and materials in a monochromatic way. I think for me that's calming, and that's why I'm drawn to it. But and I infuse that a lot in my work, but also it's so important to me for the homes I work on for it to tell the story of my clients. And that takes us a little bit into probably slow design, what we're going to get into talking about, and collecting and making sure you have pieces that mean something to you. We don't want to fast furnish these homes with pieces that don't matter. It's all about the collection of everything and the curation of everything.
So how do we get started?
I was going to say, let's dive into this.
Oh yeah, I kind of jumped
philosophy.
into
Yes.
it
because
but-
It's perfect.
because you do move into a new space or you build a new space and you're like, I want to already just get to that point. I want to get to that point
know.
where this is home.
It's a learning process too, because there's a lot of times where, in the business that I'm in, like, you want to deliver and you want your clients to have that feeling of home ASAP. And I try to make that happen, but now I'm trying to be a little bit more careful about, like, hey, okay, we got to sleep in a bed. We got to sit on a couch. Like, those things need to happen. So, but let's organize this project in a way that we're not rushing through it. Let's get those custom made pieces. Let's contract out the local artisan for your cabinet work or, some of your furniture, because these pieces are going to last you forever. You're going to pass them down. It's going to become like a generational piece. And it's all about the mix, right? We can't like have a custom item for everything. But I'm trying to deliver that message, and it's per wasteful generation, it's all about like, I want it right now. Like, back to my children, they don't even understand that like you can't get things. They think everything is Amazon and comes overnight. Right. So
Yeah.
we need to backtrack. I tell my clients it's about like, think about the capsule wardrobe. We all understand that. We're trying to create like our capsule wardrobe, especially as women. Well, let's create like the capsule home and take time on those pieces that mean something to us, you know?
Yeah, going more quality
Quality
versus
over
speed.
quantity, and take your time with it. You know, a lot of times when we're going through the design process with clients, it's, you know, they're hiring us for the expertise of, you know, what custom sofas are we getting and all of that. But when it comes to art or things that are more personal, like that's where things we might not always agree. And that's where I tell my clients like travel, go pick things up that you can create a memory with, and we can, you know, install these over time.
Yeah.
I love going into my clients' homes and them saying, hey, you know, they open up a closet. Here's all these pieces, and this is what they mean to me. And I have no idea what to do with them. But then it makes my job fun because their home's going to truly tell their story with all of those pieces, and we'll find a way to make it work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How long should one expect, even with this kind of philosophy, how long should it take to finish your home, quote unquote? And I know finishes, you know.
Yeah. I mean, are we gutting it? You know, are we
Yeah.
just furnishing it?
Let's say just furnishing. Do you do just a smaller?
Yeah. You know,
Just to set expectations, because it is
to
hard.
set expectations. Like if someone were to sign on with me right now, I would say to go through our design process and everything, like within 3 months, we can be getting some key pieces in there. But when we're like looking a little bit into some of those more custom items, give it 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
You know, but again, like it depends. Is it one room? Is it the whole house? But I think that 3 to 9 month mark is fair. And I always, you know, try to get my clients to be open to sourcing some vintage items as well. You know, not everything, but just pieces.
So going back to like you need a bed, you need a sofa. You have those core items in mind. You get those core items. Do you have the other pieces in mind, or is it kind of a more organic process of allowing your clients to live in the space with some of the core pieces and then
Let it evolve.
evolve?
Now, that's a really good question. I feel like I wouldn't be doing my job if I did it that way, because they're not hiring me as a consultant. So no, we are presenting like a full picture design.
Okay.
And usually all of those items are procured at that point. So I'm knowing, okay, hey, we might be going here for this artisan to have this made. We might be buying this, you know, as a prefab situation. So we're going to have a good idea of that picture during the design phase. But some things are just going to take longer, you know, to come to fruition.
I would think that also leaves a lot of room for curveballs from your clients.
Yeah. Well, if I were to do it the first way you explained?
Right.
Oh, for sure. Like you got to manage the process a little bit.
Right. But just the amount of time, like they could throw a curveball and then be like, you know what? I know we were going to get that, you know, lime green ottoman over there that was custom made, but you know, maybe we want to, I saw this other thing.
Yeah, no.
Like,
yeah, we have to.
No, you quash that.
Yeah, because then it becomes a circus. So I do present the big picture. So I, as the expert, I'm going, this is what I think is best. Of course, I love the collaboration of working with my clients, and that's incredibly important. So, you know, we go through edits, but then they have to they're hiring a design firm so they can have the full picture of the space because they can't figure it out themselves.
right.
So we're making sure to present that full picture. Up front. It's important.
How do you suggest that clients kind of temper their feelings against the urge to make it so instant?
That's a good question.
Meditation.
Meditation. No, I don't usually get into that with my clients, but I think I've had to learn it's really because they're looking at me as the leader in all of this. It's really how my delivery on the process, and I've noticed, you know, and I get calls all the time. I mean, I'll get calls in, you know, 2 weeks ago, like I just moved into my house. I want it furnished by Christmas, and I'm like, well.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to happen.
Yeah.
But it's setting that expectation up front And I think now that I do that more and I explain, you know, like, let's get these quality pieces that are going to last you.
Yeah.
You know, you might spend a little bit more money on them, but you're in the long term going to save money because you're not chasing a trend or chasing, you know, some quickly manufactured item that is not made with, you know, good quality materials. And then, you know, they usually drink that Kool-Aid and they're good with it, and then they calm down and they're okay with waiting. I think COVID helped a bit with that too, because lead times got so long. So it reconditioned people to be a little bit more patient, you know, with their items.
Yeah.
So say I already have a room that's kind of half finished. So it's not the full process.
Yeah.
Can I still take on the same philosophy of the slow design?
Absolutely. Absolutely you can. You know, if you're doing it for your own home, or I even do that for my own home, like technically my home is finished, right? But no, it's never finished.
Right.
Fair.
It's never finished. I'm always looking for that next piece that makes my heart sing and makes me happy to just walk into the room, or, you know, layering on another layer of wallpaper, or you know, there's so many layers and additions to a home.
Yeah.
And I feel like it, you know, of course, when I finish a project, that home is technically done. But if you're someone like me, or maybe like you, who loves a project in your home, it never has to be done.
Yeah.
You can just keep it. That's the fun in it.
There's always a new project.
It's your canvas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What percentage of clients are more like, I want you to set it and then it's done, versus like the growth?
It's a good 50-50.
Okay.
You know, I think, you know, there's such a financial commitment to working with a designer that I feel like a lot of people just want it done because they don't, you know, want the expense of it.
Yeah.
But
They've paid for your expertise. They're like, you did it. I can't do it better. So we're done. Yeah.
But there's a lot of clients that are also like, you know what, let's hold on this. I need a breather. I need to see it come together. And I appreciate that. It's like, let's let the room come together. Art is hard. We can find art over the next year, or you can find art when you're traveling, you know, something that means something to you as opposed to something that means something to me.
Yeah. Now, because of your art background, do you have any like tips or tricks on helping with clients with art, or like, again, anyone helping to finish out spaces with art?
Well, we do an art test because I have to kind of figure out, you know.
Okay, tell me more.
I mean, it's nothing too deep, but I try to gather, you know, are we more modern? Do we want photography? What means to you? Or do you want landscape? Or do you want abstract? And then we're getting into colors. You know, I had a client recently who came to me because they wanted that like organic, modern, layered textures, calm home. So, you know, yep, I can do that, no problem. And then when we were going through presentations, they wanted a beach landscape with really bright colors. And I was like, okay, curveball, much.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, I was like,
that's a curveball.
I respect that this means something to you. Let's find a space for it that makes sense. But it's hard. I don't really have, we do these art tests with our clients, and that's the hardest part of my job, is finding the right match. We try to partner with different artists, local artists from time to time, for people who are willing to do a commission, because that's always a really great process for the clients. They can have such a say in it and, you know, have something special created for them.
Yeah, that's always really special, because then you've got a piece that no one else has.
No.
Yeah.
And maybe a colorway that no one else has.
Exactly.
And it's really special to you.
I had a client last year, though. We didn't. She was she's very private, so she didn't let us photograph her home, which is sad because she had the most amazing art collection. And it was so refreshing we came into her home and we designed around the art, like it inspired us. And so that's always nice when
was
that
it one of the
happens.
easiest jobs in a way? Because
Yes. Because the art told us what to do. It's like, okay, this is a really cool art collection, and we designed around the art, and that's fun too when that happens. I love that.
that's brilliant.
That's a really kind of amazing process too, because then you're already starting with things that they already love, that already offers so many different levels of inspiration.
Yeah. I get inspired by my clients. When I walk into their home for the first time, I'm looking around. You know, I'm reading their personalities, but I'm also just looking around the home to see what I can gather. You know, are they a family that has 1,000 pictures of their kids on the beach, or do they have, what kind of books are they reading? All of that tells me so much. It's really hard for me when I walk into a space and the client has nothing. Like they've collected nothing. And then I feel like I have to really pull out their personalities.
You have to create a personality for them.
Exactly. So I prefer it vice versa, where I'm walking in and I have an amazing art collection that's gonna, inspire the project.
Yeah. What are some ways that people can find art either locally or, work with someone to find art? Like, what are some things that they should be looking for?
I think art's hard because it depends on a client's budget, right? Because there's some really great art dealers in Atlanta that if that's the right way to go, then you can contract them and they're going to take you on a great journey. If that's not in your budget, that's when I like to get in and kind of explore, like, what style art are we looking for? Maybe we can get it commissioned. Maybe that's the next level of investment. And then if that feels like it's not the right fit either, then like, let's go vintage shopping and kind of see what we can find, because there's so much really cool art.
Yeah.
That you can find really great, not mass produced pieces.
Yeah.
You have a project in your portfolio that's like a Buckhead condo or something. And I think it was published as well. And that one for me, again, just to describe it to people listening, is, it's very there's black and white elements, very kind of stark, clean colors. But you have these like mustard or velvet chairs and then you have this beautiful painting. And the painting really feels like the cohesive piece in the whole space, even though there's so much going on. Was that the first piece? So
that's such a good. Thanks for bringing that up, because this kind of will bring it all home and make sense. So the client for that project wanted to work with a local artist, Steve Penley, who's pretty popular, and she had went to one of his art shows and saw how he painted Marilyn Monroe. And in her mind, her mother passed when she was really young. He thought the way she painted Marilyn Monroe reminded her so much of her mother. So she's when we started working on her home, she would say, okay, I want this to feel like New York chic. And she goes, we're commissioning a piece of Marilyn Monroe. And it's going to be huge. And we're going to smack it on this wall. And I was like, okay, I subscribe. Let's do this. I love it. And, that project now is a couple years ago. I can't remember. I feel like we designed the room. And then, yes, we did. We designed the room, and then we presented that to Steve, and then he customized the colors that he used in the painting around the room.
Oh, cool.
And it could be done vice versa too. But that's why it came together so nicely, because it was something we had in our mind from the beginning.
I loved that project just because it was so colorful and happy and cohesive as well. Like the room just really felt like it was meant to be that way. But the art really made it sing. So that was
Thank you.
Perfect
Yeah, that was
example
a fun
of
project.
that. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a really unique perspective that you bring because of your experience as an artist and studying art.
Yeah. Thank you.
Your home is also published, though, correct? And your home's the kind of monochromatic living room, and oh my gosh, I love it. Well, you were talking about your West Coast, even when you said that kind of that little bit, and I feel like it kind of, in my opinion, influenced your space. Could you talk about your home just a little bit?
Yeah, I'd love to. It did. I think working on the West Coast for 7 years, just seeing how people lived over there and the architecture over there. There was things I loved about it, and that I definitely was looking for over here. And I found an older home that was built in the 80s about 3-4 years ago, and it felt like a traditional Tudor from the outside, but inside when you went in, it had this Mediterranean flair, and I fell in love with it. I was like, this is our home. And it's been such it's a really, really unique home.
Yeah.
Now that we're in there 3 years, I'm like, well, maybe this wasn't the best home to
Wait,
raise my boys in the sense that we don't have a basement. Or it's very loud.
Yes.
We have these very high, it's like 2-story ceilings, and everything's very loud, and my kids are little musicians, so we hear it's loud.
I like it. It's
However,
just loud.
at the end of the day, I it's just such a unique space.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun I have renovated a lot of it, and then I've kept a lot of really charming, unique, original details alone as well. So it's been fun.
Yeah. And is your bedroom the kind of pinky mauvey, or soft?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Everyone has to go check it out. It's such a beautiful color. Because what I really loved is, honestly, it seems like there's some kind of attic roof section that comes like
there is,
there's part of the ceiling that's lower. And the way you masked it with the cabinet perfectly, that she put a cabinet right under this piece of roof line that sticks out, and it makes it just just work. And I was like, I love how you worked that in. I was like, that was just brilliant.
It was, thank you, because, and it's funny, you have a design background when you notice that, because it drives me nuts.
I'm sure it
and
did.
I had a custom cabinet made to make it work, because it was either that or like redo the HVAC, and that gets costly. That's not gonna happen. Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, I think I was not trying to call it out as a blemish, because I just think everybody has, not everybody, but most people have something where like somewhere in construction it went wrong, or the last owner did something that like you disagree with, and you're not always in a place where you can you constructually fix it. So you're kind of like, how do I Band-Aid this, or how do you
embrace it?
Yeah, or embrace.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you?
So I feel like
embrace
that
it?
was a good example of like where you're like, all right, so this is extended. So how are we going to work this space?
Yep.
It was great.
And we brought it in, and that cabinet, it's a huge armoire, and we don't have too much closet space, so it remedied that as well. But we didn't really we had to lift it over the balcony, and I think lives could have been lost that day. So it was like
some miracles in there.
That will die with the house. It's not going.
That's
anywhere.
staying. That's now fixture.
Yeah.
Well, the way it almost bumps so perfectly to the ceiling, it does. It feels like it's almost like a built-in without being a built-in.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
that's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
Amazing. Yeah, it's such a beautiful and unique space that you wouldn't, just seeing the pictures of the interior, you wouldn't think that it's a Tudor on the outside.
No, you don't. So
all.
it's very humble on the outside. People are always surprised when you walk in, and that's what took, like, when I walked into it for the first time, I was like, holy cow! I was taken by surprise with just their like cement fireplace and the archways. And it's in the Morningside neighborhood of Atlanta, and it was built in the 80s, and most of the homes are early 1900s there. So it's kind of a funny time for architecture, but it's cool. There's kind of these nods to the 80s in the house that are, a little fun and edgy that I kept too. So
like what?
Yeah.
we have like the angled stair. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like the let's see. It's almost like the surfboard banister on the stairway that you saw so much in the 80s. There's just some, I kept that too. I was like, I might redo that eventually, but I kept it. It felt nostalgic and interesting.
Oh, I have to talk about your kitchen.
Oh yeah.
Your hood is so cool. Did you do that?
Yeah, I've done it twice, and then I retired it.
Okay, because I saw it I saw it once, and then I saw it again in your work, and I was like, so maybe those are the two times.
Yeah, so it was like,
describe it.
It's a curved hood. I was inspired by like a pizza oven at a restaurant one night. I was like, those
It's
Italian,
perfect, yes.
like in Decatur. Do you know? It's an Italian restaurant.
246.
246. Is that it? Yeah.
Well,
I was at 246, and I was just sitting there, enjoying my cocktail of the night. And I was like, nothing cooler than like a tiled pizza oven. And, and I was like, this would be a really cool hood. I'm sick of seeing all these angles. And that was around the time where we got the house, and I wanted the kitchen the home has such a Mediterranean flair. I wanted that kitchen to feel timeless, but also a little bit edgy and different. And so we created a rounded tiled hood. It was great.
Yeah, it's like this soft, subtle curve, but it's all covered in tile. So just, again,
it flows.
Yeah. It's just it's like a beautiful element in the space, and the tile is so gorgeous, and the way you did the tile standing too vertical.
Yeah.
It was just beautiful.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
I love it too. And it's functional. It works, guys. It was really hard to figure out how to do it. Some of my tradespeople wanted to like dump my body. Well,
because I'm sure because the hood, the actual sucking feature is like probably like
that was the hardest part is getting that in there. But we made it work, and then we did it I did it in another kitchen. Someone asked, they're like, "We love this hood." And they said, "Okay, this was my special hood, but we're going to do it once more." And they love it.
I will allow you to copy me once, but then I am done.
I was like, yes, it's been actually, but who knows? Maybe we'll do it again.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I think those are the similar tiles. So maybe if you do it in
another tile, right?
Yes.
And that is, you got to find the right tile too, because it has to go on the radius of the curve. Like
that's true. It can't be too big.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
But now everyone's tiling islands again. You see
are they?
Yeah.
Is that the new trend?
Mm-hmm. The face of the islands. You see it more in like commercial projects and like coffee shops where you have the tile.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Gosh. I mean, I think my house growing up still has countertops that are just like the square, like how. Yeah.
I'm ripping one out right now.
Are you?
Working on a
Yes.
kitchenware. And the client was like, well, we have to work electrical on the island. She's old school and she likes to plug a TV into the island. And I was like, well, we can do a pop-up, outlet for that now. And she's like, okay, can we just order another tile so that we can replace it for the new owner, if they don't want the plug? And I was like, we're not tiling the island. Like, we're going to do a slab.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She was like, what? No, you just need to buy one.
Oh my gosh.
Can you imagine cleaning those grout lines?
No,
No,
it's
that's
such a
terrible.
terrible idea. I know. Everybody's trying to get rid of, well, that's a lie. I feel like in a lot of situations, especially having boys, I was trying to get rid of grout lines.
Yes. Yes, but I get
it is different applications. Of course.
Different like nowadays. I think the way they're making the grout, it's just it doesn't get grimy and like it lasts, and it's not the same issue. But we don't want a bunch of grout lines ever.
Yeah,
especially on our countertop.
Oh, especially countertop
in
is
the
not a
kitchen.
place you want
Not
one.
in the kitchen.
Well, I wanted to talk tile because you have a lot of projects with super fun tile. Did you notice
tile.
that?
I did.
Well,
I love tile.
do you think that's your Italian upbringing?
You know what? Maybe because when I go into the streets of like Italy, I'm like, they have like limestone on the streets.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're like, how is this what the curb everyone's walking on?
I haven't explored Spain yet, but I know I might lose it when I go to Spain because they really use
the
their tile
Alhambra.
well.
Oh,
yeah.
you're gonna die. It's so good.
I can't wait. I love natural stone and I love tile, and I really do. And
what are some good places and applications to put it? Because it is, especially, I mean, you use a lot of graphic tile as well. Because I know there's, I mean, some obviously, like your hood was such a beautiful white and cream that all blended. But where do you use the graphic tile now? Where are people using it the most?
That's a good question. And it's funny that I did on my kitchen, I did go a little bit nuts with the floor. And I don't regret it. I'm going to say I don't regret it, but because the house calls for it. But I don't, unless I have the right client, that's probably not what I'm going to go to in my average kitchen. So I think a safe place to do a fun pattern is going to be like your laundry room or maybe a guest bathroom. So it doesn't wear on you. And I say that to my clients with wallpaper too. Like, let's have fun in the powder bath because those things do wear on you over time and it's expensive to redo it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had some beautiful work, and then you redid a bar. So
that was my family owns Nino's as a restaurant that's been in Atlanta since 1968, and my sister and her husband have taken the restaurant over since my dad retired, and it was my sister's dream to open up like a coastal Italian bar. Nino's is like very old school; it hasn't been touched. It's since 1968. Like you go in there, it's like a time warp. But she's like, I want to do this like sexy bar that reminds us of the Amalfi Coast, which is where my father's from, and it will be like a tribute to him. So we did that last year. It was really fun. We collaborated on that, and we had a pretty tight budget, so I couldn't go as crazy with tile as I was hoping for.
You did a good job. Everyone can see your work on your website. It's a cute little
it's a cute little spot, and we tiled a lot there.
So you did the bar itself in blue and white tile, correct?
Yeah, we did, and blue and white is more. Feels a little bit more like grease, maybe, but some of these Italian tiles are too much for my ADD. Like there's yellow and blue, and I was like, too many colors, so we're gonna pare this down. So we did do just blue and white, and we tiled the whole bar, and then we tiled the whole back bar. So when you go in, it's a lot of
substantial.
Yeah.
And then you did the big yellow banquettes.
Oh yeah,
those are great.
Yeah,
those are great.
And now that's very Southern Italy to have that yellow.
Oh, that yellow though.
And,
yeah, that with the blue and white. It did. It felt like the perfect. You did a fantastic job. I felt like the coast of Italy.
Yeah, it's fun. You guys get to go there and
know.
experience the food. The food's really good too.
Okay, well,
Okay, but the real test is, what do the regulars think?
Oh my gosh, it's really fun. Like sometimes I'll go in and just sit at the bar and listen to people chat, because either these old people come in and they're grumpy and they're like, why would they do this? You know, they want the old school. And it's like, you can still go into the old dining room, or there's people that absolutely love it. So we get both.
I kind of love
really,
though that you didn't like, your sister didn't like fully redo, which I like kind of, that she was like, no, this isn't.
Yeah. Right, because you still want to, like, even when I go there, sometimes I'm like, I want to drink at the bar, and then I want to go eat in the old dining room because it's nostalgic and it's cozy and warm, and so there's a place for everyone, you know.
Yeah,
it's a great space.
What did your dad think?
he's just mad about me up in the budget, you know.
Yeah,
he still has his head around the money, but I think he's happy.
You were like, it's custom upholstery, okay? You're gonna need to help me out.
He's a man of a few words, but deep down, I think he's very proud and he's happy. And I mean, at the end of the day, my sister was like, I want, like, everybody loves Dad and comes to Nino's because of Dad, and no one really knows his story or where he's from. They're just like this short Italian man. Yeah. And so the bar tells the history of like where he's from, and so I think that's nice.
Oh, that's
There's
amazing.
family photos on the wall that like span back to, you know, to 3 generations ago. So it's nice.
That's awesome.
That's really
That's
special.
Really sweet.
Yeah, you guys go. Please go.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will.
Yeah.
You've had 2 boys, and you've kind of, obviously your design business has grown with them. And I'm in a situation too where I have young kids now, and you know, they're growing. And I ask a lot of designers this, but I think it's so hard to build a room that you feel like will at least last the 5 year, you know, like the chunk of time. How did you kind of handle the boys' rooms?
The boys' rooms. Okay. I thought I was like, are we talking about a living room or the kids' room?
Yeah,
oh
the
my
actual
gosh.
rooms. I mean, other than you can just let it go, I know, and let it be a mattress.
I'll be honest with you, because I know you're not there yet, but you're going to get there. You can call me when you get there. They are going to have an opinion soon.
Yeah.
So I tried to create a warm canvas for them. We have a nice rug. We have a nice bed. I have forced in some like, you know, heirloom art in there that they're begging me to rip off the wall.
Yeah.
But
what does it look like? I have to know which, like,
what, their room?
No, the art that they're like begging to come off the wall.
It was a piece that was my grandfather's that I love, and it's very bright. It has a lot of color, so it ended up in that room because it doesn't fit in the rest of the house. And it's great. It's oversized. It totally works.
Is it a landscape? Or?
No, it's abstract. Yeah. But yeah, they can't. Okay, let's see. Let me go back on this. I try to create the best canvas for them so it doesn't feel crazy, but they are going to have their own ideas, and then I have to let them now implement them. I know there are some designers that their kids have the most perfect rooms, but they go through phases, and they want their band posters and their guitars on their walls, and that's their space. I want them to be happy in it. I mean, the LED lights, there's that too. It's it's not great.
Well, yeah, and I understand that. Yeah, and you've gone through it too.
The running LED lights.
You got it too. Yeah, you have an older son.
How long would you say a kid's room last?
Well,
I guess certain pieces do, right? Like, again, if you buy an upholstered bed in a solid or something where, again, you know, or a good wooden bed, you're probably using it the whole time.
You know what I do is, you know, with clients, we have like the baby toddler years. And, you know, when we're picking wallpaper, I said, let's design the room so it will grow with them. And then we're buying a bed that's really going to last them through their teens, hopefully. So, you know, if you have a 3-year-old right now, let's say you wanted to redo his room, I'd say, okay, you want a wallpaper, you want to go all out. Let's pick things. Maybe I'm going to do a grass cloth because that can change with his personality. You can change the bedspread. You can change the rug.
That's a really solid base.
And then I'm going to go ahead and get him like a fuller queen bed because they're going to grow. Yeah. And then that you have the solid great pieces in there, and then you can kind of let it grow over time. Yeah. And then your investment isn't lost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I send my boys to camp this year, I'm ripping their bathroom out. They don't know yet, but you know, you gotta like fit it in when they're not around.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Okay, then that's some good advice because I'm obviously we're switching the bed in the 3-year-old's room right now, and it is that like we're at that time where I'm like, all right, like what bed do we actually put in? Do we make do?
Right.
With like
get a good bed.
Yeah.
You can do whatever he's into. You can get the pillows and the bedspread, whatever, but just get that good quality bed because it's gonna last. Yeah,
which goes back to your philosophy. So I should
exactly
stuck to
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I didn't ever allow like the race car driver bed, and you got to do what's best for you, but. Those things, right, they're only going to last a year or two. And
Right.
So.
Right. Yes. No, I'd much rather just get the right bed and be like.
Yeah, he's going to grow into it and they grow so fast. Get a, for our space, the rooms are smaller. We did fulls and.
Yeah.
Full or queen, whatever.
Yeah.
And
they're still in it, though.
over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've had the same bed, though.
Since around that 7-8 mark, I think is when I took them from like a twin or we were moving and we got them the fulls and it's great. And my one son's he's going to be at least 6 feet. He's going to be tall. And I'm trying to figure out how to fit a queen in his room because it's smaller because he's going to need that. But, he also has a drum set in there and, a gaming setup. And
right.
And now you're out of room. Yeah.
I mean, listen, here's what I tell everybody. He asked me to buy like an outdoor Snoopy like for Christmas and he put it in his room. And I mean, that goes against like everything, but I got to let him live his life. And if that's nostalgic to him and that makes him happy, I got to walk by his room every night and see the light up Snoopy. It's not forever. So we're just embracing these.
Yeah. It's not forever, but I'll tell you what, like we have something similar where like the giant spider for like that was on like a web in outdoor decorations is in my teenager's room.
Okay.
Just
you just got to let him let him flow with it. Yeah.
I think he likes it mostly because his friends come over and then it freaks him out and he's like
yeah, exactly, like at this
whatever.
I was talking
to
my husband. I was like, I can't wait to turn Oscar's room into a study when he goes to college. I was like, we're gonna do built-ins and maybe I'll turn it into my office. And he's like, Gabby, you got to let them have their rooms even when they go to college. And I was like, oh, man, really? I do?
You're like, oh, really? But can't I just...
I guess I do. Oh, I guess I do have to let them keep their rooms, but I'm changing them,
Right. Oh, yeah. I think, you get to
change them. Change them up.
That is a good idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
Today's decorating dilemma is from Julia. And she writes, hi there, longtime listener, first-time emailer. First, I want to say how much I love your podcast. I love following Taryn's house journey, hearing about Liz providing PowerPoints for paint colors. She does do that.
I do that.
That's awesome.
And Caroline flocking her own tree. Y'all do such a great job for the hobbyist decorators, and your guests are always so inspiring. But on to my question. I live in New York City in a cozy apartment, and I've been working to update it over time. It is a rental. The biggest thing I've tried to do are separate the spaces by color and removable wallpaper. However, I'm having some decision fatigue on wallpapering or just leaving alone this entry area of the apartment. See attached photos for details. The entry hallway of the apartment has a beige grass cloth, and my kitchen is a happy blue. I found some wallpaper that I think marries the two sections, but I don't want it to feel too busy in the space. I'm thinking I would wallpaper the wall with the mirror on it and the small wall with the door on it. Would you also wallpaper the beam on the left as well? It's a divider between the spaces, so I thought it would be nice to leave it blank. Let me know what you think. Thank you all for what you do. I know it takes so much time, and we all so appreciate it. Thank you, Julia. That's so sweet. So she provided some great images of her little space. She has, just to describe it real quick.
It's a great little space.
It is. I love the grass cloth in the entry.
And I loved that she called it her happy blue kitchen. And that made me happy for her. Because I'm sure it's so petite in New York City. And she's also provided the wallpaper she's looking at.
Yeah, so. I see it all. All right. Should I?
What do you think she should do?
Let her know, Julia.
Yes.
Hi, Julia. Okay, I have two suggestions of what I would do. Suggestion number one, which goes a little bit against your question, would be I love this entry grass cloth. I think grass cloth warms up a space so much. So as an alternative to the pattern, if you're wanting to simplify and keep it cohesive, I think it would be really nice to continue that into I guess you're not calling it the entry area, but the area that you're talking about papering with the other paper. So you would go over the beam and do the wall with the mirror and then the wall with the doors. And that's going to bring such warmth and texture to that area. So I love that idea. Or I do love this pattern, and I do think you're correct. I think the colors in it would marry the kitchen and the entry very well. So if you decided to do that, I think it would work well. But with the beam, it's a little bit tricky because if you see on the other side of the wall that is shared with the kitchen, you're going to see the face of that wall where the more neutral paint is. It would be ideal in an ideal situation to paper the beam in the grass cloth and then start the accent paper from that wall over. But if you can't do that, then I would leave the beam alone.
Okay.
That was my lengthy.
No, that makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
You think the big beam should be covered in the grass cloth
I
to kind
do.
of continue
To
the
continue it.
entry per se, and then break it with the floral.
Yeah, but I would not put the floral on the beam either way.
Okay.
That would call a lot of attention to the floral if it was on that beam.
I think so. And then it's going to create disconnect on the kitchen wall. Yeah. But I love that grass cloth. I think it's really nice.
It's so classic and so
gonna
warm and
say-
amazing.
Grass cloth, man, it has longevity.
You can't go wrong with it.
I know.
You can't. I love it.
It's so
I'll use it
good.
all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even like the idea of using the grass cloth and continuing that into the living space from the hallway that you enter into.
I think that's especially because it's a smaller space and I'm not seeing the whole space. But if you're worried about it feeling too choppy, that's going to be an easy solution. But you want to warm it up, just carry the grass cloth into the living space. But I do like this pattern, and I do think it would work. So,
It would.
yeah, I think it would work really nice.
Oh my gosh, it's going to be so great.
Send us a picture when you're done.
Yeah, she's got so many great pieces.
I love a New York rental because they're like, I'm doing it. I feel like I never did that in my apartments.
Yeah.
I was always just like, I'm here temporary. But I feel like everyone makes their space their own. It's so nice.
Well, in New York, people can have their rentals for like 40 years.
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
Yeah.
It's so different than what we do here
Yeah.
in the South.
Yeah, it's very cute. So it looks spacious for New York. I know that sounds comical because it's 2 spots, but I'm like, look at that long hallway.
Yeah.
It's so great. I love that she's got that entryway.
Yeah.
Kind of jealous of that entryway. It's so good to have that
Yes.
separation.
But definitely, Julia, send us photos when you're done. That's a great one.
Yeah. And thanks so much for listening. I'll make you a PowerPoint.
Are you still using PowerPoint or are you on to Canva?
Those are some heated words. No, I'm still using PowerPoint. And as a graphic designer, I never used PowerPoint, and Karen Mooney made me do it.
Yeah.
What would you use, like Illustrator, Adobe products, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the same before here.
Yeah.
Now it's PowerPoint.
PowerPoint.
Well, everybody can use it. And so you find yourself being like, well,
Right.
if everyone can edit it,
Yeah.
all right.
I'll pass it on.
Yeah. Well, thank
my
you
gosh.
so much for coming on and spending the
you.
day
Yes,
with
thanks
us.
for
Yeah.
coming across town.
Okay, so
really
where can
appreciate it.
everyone find you and follow you and see all your work?
I am on Instagram. It's Silo Studio Design, SILO Studio Design. And the website is silostudiodesign.com. And if you go there, you could figure out further how to find me.
Yeah. And there's a great home tour on YouTube that
Oh, yeah.
Homeworthy did.
Homeworthy. That was fun.
Yeah. It is a fun,
Yeah.
so everyone can see your pretty home.
You've just searched my name for that, Gabriela Eisenhart, which I'm sure is going to be on the show, right? So they,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it won't be under Silo Studios, but that was a fun. If you want to see what we've been talking about,
Yes.
you want to see the curved hood.
Yes.
Yes.
watch
And then
it.
now we have to go to Nino's so we can see this bar.
Yeah.
So all
are
the
we doing
best.
now?
And they're doing like I know, right? And they're doing all these fun holiday cocktails right now. So now's a good time. To
Even better.
yeah, I know.
Goodbye.
Yeah, bye. See you later. Well, thanks guys for having me. This was a lot of fun. It was nice to do this in person too.
It really was.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And that's our show.
And that's our show. You can find all of the show notes on our blog, howtodecorate.com/podcast.
To send in a decorating dilemma, email your questions to podcast@ballarddesigns.net so we can help you with your space.
And of course, be sure to follow us on social media at Ballard Designs.
Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And please leave us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback.
Until next time, happy
Happy
decorating.
decorating.